Good afternoon and welcome to the award ceremony for Class C Cars of the Art Deco period. Thank you for joining us. It's been a great concours so far, sponsored by Haggerty and in aid of UNICEF. And we come to what I think is probably one of the most competitive and one of the most difficult to judge classes of the whole concours. On my right is David Lillywhite. David is the co-chair of the Concours Virtual. I'm Jeff Love. The two of us are running the concours. And John Mason Taylor joins us. He is head judge of the class. John was chairman of Lynx Motors, and he is also a historic racing driver, and nowadays spends quite a lot of time as a senior concours judge at some of the leading concours around the world. So thanks, John. Thanks for helping us with the class. And helping us come to the conclusion that you have done.
Thank you very much, Jeff.
We will start with the winners of the People's Vote, and David Lillywhite, if I could ask you to announce in reverse order how the people voted for this particular class.
Okay, as Jeff says, it's a really interesting class. Had a lot of votes, really big amount of votes for this. So in third place, we had the 1936 Chrysler C9 Airflow, and that's owned by Mark Becker. So congratulations, fantastic car. In second place, got the 1938 Delage D8 120, owned by Fritz Burkhardt. Again, congratulations, Fritz, fantastic. And in first place in the People's Vote is the 1933 Minerva Type AL Landaulet, and that is owned by Diljit Titus. Congratulations.
I have to say there was a very large vote coming in from India for that particular car. Wasn't there, David?
Oh, there surely was, yeah. I mean, it's just a car that's attracted a huge amount of enthusiasm, and there's a very big concours scene out there, which is really interesting. Yeah, I agree. Congratulations to that.
Okay, so moving on to the main event, the judges' results for this class. And John, it's a very tough class, this, wasn't it? There's 14 cars, which is a big class in itself. Between them, they've got 12 best of show winners from around the world. It's a class which has attracted some of the most competitive and the most eager collectors in the classic car world, some really big names there. So how did you go about coming to the conclusion that you did?
Well, thank you very much, Jeff. It was indeed, it was a very difficult class to judge, really. We had 14 cars, which is quite a sizable number of cars in any class, but the Art Deco period is just a fabulous period of car design. It sort of reflects the era of joyous happiness, a beautiful attention to detail, and it's where industrial architecture and design falls into the automotive field as well. And just some fantastic cars and some serious and spirited debate amongst luminaries of the car world. I was very fortunate to have many famous people from the car industry and the design world sharing the judging platform with me.
So who was on the judging panel?
I'm sorry?
Who was on the judging panel?
The judging panel. We had Andrea Zagato, obviously the grandson of the founder of Zagato, one of the world famous car designs, connected with Ferrari and Alfa Romeo, and of course with the DB4 GT Zagato as well. We had Andy Reid, who's a lifelong car enthusiast, and now he's a market analyst, as we know, for Magneto magazine. Christoph Groch, who is a Swiss-based car enthusiast, collector, and classic car dealer. Peter Stevens, a designer of cars, as well as involved in industrial design. Designer of one of my favorite cars of all time, the McLaren F1. Not in this class, I hasten to add, but still a beautiful car. Patrick Peter, the organizer, along with his wife Sylvia, of many of the historic endurance racing events now. held in Europe, the Tour Auto, for instance, Le Mans Classic, and as well as Concours events. So great to have Patrick on board. And Ken Gross, who's a journalist, writer, and former curator of the Peterson Museum in Los Angeles. So a very good match of judges for a stellar class to judge.
Yeah, I certainly think you pulled together, or we've got together there a group of judges whose authority you can't really question, and who I'm sure came to the right decision amongst the group. So if you look at the group of 14 cars, the number of class winners between them, the number of best of shows, we've even got a Pebble Beach best of show within the class. How did you choose between such a difficult grouping?
Well, what we tend to do is we try and not look at the previous results of cars that have been entered into various concours, because that can often be a distracting factor. We just want to look at the cars in isolation and look at them in terms of historical context as well. We were provided with some good details on the cars, and as we've been involved in many concours, the fellow judges and myself, we have seen these cars before, so we were well versed in the history of them. But it was such a strong lineup. It was very difficult to come to a first, second, and third, I must say.
And were there any cars in particular which just missed out on that top three?
Well, probably the 1931 Alfa Romeo, which was a favourite of mine, I have to say. But it was so closely contested at the end that the Alfa was just pipped.
Okay. Well, without ado, I think we should probably move on to announcing the third place award. So, John, who won the third place?
Third place was the 1935 Hispana Suiza, a K6 by Brandoni, a fabulous car, coach built by the French coach builder Brandoni. So it's rarer than most on the Côte d'Azur, and just fabulous car, just beautiful. And Hispana Suiza for the lovers of the marque, just stunning cars, absolutely stunning.
Yeah, I've always been a real big fan of Hispana Suiza. It's a beautiful make. Mm-hmm. And it's owned by Richard Magidis, isn't he? Who's based in Singapore. So
yes.
A big collector.
Yeah.
So I'm delighted with third place. It has been a Best in Show nominee at Pebble Beach, and it's won a number of awards. But
yes, and rightly so.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fabulous car. Okay, so moving on to the second place. Tell us who got the second.
1938, the Delage D8 120 by De Villas. Again, very typical of the Art Deco period, just beautiful lines, fabulous proportions, and attention to detail, wonderful restoration, and it shows well from every angle, which is always a good testament to a marvelous design.
Yeah, I love that Delage. And just before we announce the first place, tell me what picked the Delage with the first place winner. What gave it the edge?
Well, that's an interesting question, Jeff. It's a question actually that we tended not to ask each other. It was one of those things that whether we could explain it in a sentence or two, I don't know. But it was just something that that lifted the first place car from the second. A combination, I think, of the rarity of the car, the story of the car throughout its history. It just puts it on I think, just a slightly different level than the rest of the cars in the class.
Okay, so tell us then, John, who was the winner of Class C, the cars of the Art Deco?
It is the 1939 Delahaye 165 by Figoni and Falaschi, owned by Peter Mullin and in the Mullin collection in California.
Peter's going to be absolutely delighted with that result. I'm sure he will be. And a great result. What do you think, David?
Yeah, it's a fantastic car. I know the car. I wasn't part of the judging panel, but I do know that car, and God, it's something else. It really is. I've seen it.
What I like about it, as you say, John, the story behind the car is quite amazing, isn't it?
Well, it is really that that Peter was trying to acquire the car for quite a number of years, and he eventually succeeded, and then a meticulous restoration was carried out. I mean, just absolutely faultless, and it's worthy of all the prizes and awards that it's already been given, and it's a very worthy class winner in this concours.
It was lost for quite a few years, wasn't it? And then sold on to a truck driver for $1,200.
$1,200, and it was found beside a tow truck, and
right.
Just one of those great stories, really, that that stand the test of time as well. It's marvelous, and it's in the right home now. It's in a marvelous home. So it's,
yeah, the modern collection. The modern collection is probably one of the preeminent collections of French Art Deco cars, and right, it'll be well looked after in that collection.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, John. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully, that means the Delahaye will be moving forward into the Best in Show circle to win the outright award for the Concours Virtual. I'd like to thank Haggerty, who are our presenting sponsor. I would like to thank the Maguires, who are the class sponsor for this particular class. And I'd also say this all is in all aid of UNICEF. So if you get a chance, go onto our Just Giving page and please give to UNICEF. Thank you very much. And please keep coming back to the site. We've got many more classes coming forward, and I'm hoping you're enjoying the concours. Thank you and goodbye.